All right, Pickle. Let's get to some headlines from across the state. And we need to start with what I think was probably the biggest breaking news from the past week. And it was the goings-on down near the coast. As Refugio head coach Jason Herring has stepped down as head coach of the Refugio Bobcats due to what the district is calling, quote, ongoing health concerns. Their longtime assistant coach Drew Cox is going to take over as head coach. Herring is going to remain in the role as Refugio ISD athletic director for now. So I will be honest about this. I want to be as candid as I can without betraying confidences here. This is something we had heard rumblings about for about a month, quite honestly. There had been rumblings about Coach Herring and his health, and that there may be a coaching change looming. So when this came down, I think it was not necessarily as shocking to me. This is not. I'm not trying to make this about like, oh, I knew something you guys didn't. It's just for reasons.
It was more sad than shocking.
For
to be
reasons
honest.
I think you guys can probably understand. It's important to keep that confidential rather. But Coach Herring steps down after 17 seasons at Refugio. Before that, people may not remember, he's a West Texas guy. He had a couple of years at Wall and a real nice run at Sonora, where he led Sonora to the 2000 state championship. He's a guy who has 5 state championships, I believe, to his name. That feels knowable. Let me see if I can find that real quick. He's a guy who, quite frankly, he has, let's see, Jason Herring. 4. I'm sorry. He has 4 state championships to his name. He retires with a record of a full record. Man, I'm just doing great right now. I went looking for the thing and it threw me off. He retires with a complete record of 293-61.
Wow.
293-61. Let me even go further than that. In his 17 years at Refugio, they went 224-24. Okay? 224-24.
That's insane.
So, for every game he lost, they won like almost 10. That is a stunning record. Quite simply, he has built Refugio into one of the most reliably excellent Texas high school football programs. Plain and simple. Led them to 3 state championships in 2011, 2016, 2019. Also led them to 4 other state championship games. He played in 7 title games overall in his 17 years there at Refugio. And it's the end of an era, quite simply. I put this out on Twitter, and I'll mention this here as well. Jason Herring can be a bit of a polarizing figure to some. He's a guy who, you may remember, you were maybe too young for this, but it was right when I was starting at Dave Campbell's. There was a big controversy around him, I want to say back in 2013-ish, where essentially he got accused of running up the score on people. Yeah. He got and
I was too young for that, but I have heard.
Yes.
Because every time that I talked to Coach Herring, I was like, man, he's just the nicest guy. And it was like always, some people would just be like,
yeah.
And it was like, oh, he's been nothing but nice to me in my time, and I was always very
Absolutely.
courteous in interviews and stuff like that. I had no idea until people told me.
Hoss.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he really does. He's like, let me tell you, Hoss.
That is a gender neutral term that Jason Herring, by the way. He'll call you Hoss too. That came out. I want to say there was like an ESPN thing about it where he kind of became kind of front page news. To hear Jason Herring tell it, it makes a lot of sense. And I'm not here condoning beating a team 91-0. Mm-hmm. But he had at least there was a rhyme and reason to it. He was not doing it to run up the score, to show up opponents. What he would do is say, look, every year, or, many years, we're getting into the playoffs, and we're running out of gas. Mm-hmm. We're getting into a competitive second half.
And we've never done it before.
suddenly we don't have anything left in the tank because I'm pulling all my guys at halftime because it's up 55-0. They were by far, and kind of in many ways still are, in that part of the world, the dominant 2A program.
Mm-hmm.
And he would say, all right, so here's the rule. We're going to play our starters 3 quarters, no matter what. Final gun of the third quarter, we're pulling everybody. We're putting in the 2s, we're putting in the JV, we're putting in everybody. But for 3 quarters, we're going to go as hard as we can because we've got to get our reps. We've got to make sure we get what's ours. And so I think that Jason Herring is in many respects, and certainly you're entitled to your own opinion, but he at least I think had a principle in mind that he thought was for the best for his team. Your mileage may vary on that. The other thing I'll say about this, and this is my final word on Jason Herring. You mentioned that he's always been very courteous and kind to Dave Campbell's, and certainly that's true. When you go 224-24 over 17 seasons at a school,
aren't gonna like you.
School, not only that, yes, true. People are not going to like
jealousy does run rampant at that point.
Also, the other thing, your phone's going to ring.
Mm-hmm.
And especially as a West Texas guy, your phone's going to ring. And you're going to get offers to go to other jobs. Jason Herring is fiercely loyal to Refugio. Mm-hmm. And if you've ever been to Refugio, I want to tread lightly here. It can be a rough part of town. Mm-hmm. It can be a rough part of town. And when they got hammered by Hurricane Harvey, they were near ground zero for Hurricane Harvey.
Right. Well, I mean, they didn't even get to play in their home stadium for a portion of a year or two ago because they had contractors walk out and they're like, you're risking it falling over, quite literally. And so if that puts it into perspective.
He is a guy who, and if you talk to him, he'll tell you the same thing, which is like, my heart is here. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm making a difference in this community and making a difference in these kids' lives and these families' lives. Why would I leave that? And I think there's a real nobility in that. And I think there's real honor in that. And when I say that he's loyal to a community, that's what I mean. Mm-hmm. I know for a fact, this is not I think, I feel. This is I know he had opportunities to go other places. And I also know he turned all of them down. Mm-hmm. So Jason Herring, we certainly wish him the best. He is stepping down. Drew Cox will be the new head coach there at Refugio. Some other coaching changes from across the state. Birdville is open. Lon Holbrook is moving into Birdville IC Athletic Administration. That is going to open up a spot that has not been open since 2015 when Lon Holbrook took over. He's done a really masterful job there. 51-47, went 12-2 regional final appearance back in 2018, regional semifinals in 2019. They're going to move this. I think this is going to be something that moves pretty quickly. Birdville generally will move pretty quickly, but Birdville's open. Lon Holbrook has moved into athletic administration. Smithville has a new head coach. Fort Bend Ridgepoint co-offense coordinator Lane Newman will be the new head coach and athletic director at Smithville, taking over Cyril Atkins, who retired. Cyril Atkins, of course, was an alum there at Smithville. Newman is a Hondo guy that you may remember as former Texas A&M kicker Lane Newman.
How about that?
Taking over to be a head coach there at Smithville. He got his degree in College Station and then got his coaching career going. He's had stops at Crosby, Clearbrook, Baytown Lee, LaPorte, and George Rance. Houston area guy going to Smithville. Congratulations to Coach Newman. Merkel is open. Will Cates has announced he is leaving to become the new offensive coordinator at Eagle Mountain High School. You may remember that Eagle Mountain
brand new
poached Jeremy Mullins, the Toller head coach, who led Toller to a state championship game this past year. They now find a new offensive coordinator in Merkel head coach Will Cates to be their next offensive coordinator there. So keep an eye on that one. Merkel is going to post the job relatively quickly, says Matt Stepp at TexasFootball.com. You mentioned a couple of years ago that Refugio had to play all their games on the road. The same thing will go with two new UIL schools, Sugarland Harmony and Katy Harmony, which are two charter schools down there in the Houston area. They will play all of their games on the road this year after or at least all their district games on the road. After District 10 4A Division 2, their district executive committee ruled that they did not have the adequate facilities to host varsity football. The district came together, took a vote, and said that they do not have the adequate facilities to host football. This is different from the Refugio situation, which essentially the stadium, I don't want to say it was condemned, but it was like it was ruled not safe.
Yeah, like literally, like people that are meant to do that said no, you can't.
This is not a safety issue, but from what we understand, this is a facility issue in the sense of, do you have enough locker rooms? Do you have places for the bands? Do
restrooms.
You have restrooms? Do you have things like that? That apparently Sugar Land Harmony and Katy Harmony, according to the District 10-4A Division 2 District Executive Committee, do not, and as a result will play all of their District 10-4A Division 2 district games on the road. That's the district with Lamarck, Brookshire Royal, Sweeney, West Columbia, and Wharton.
So are they going to have to play away games like that, or are they going to be at a neutral site? Because, I mean, there's other stadiums in Sugar Land.
Yeah, we'll find out. I do not know that.
I just wonder if they would pay a rental fee or something to those teams.
My guess is that this is a guess. This is a feel for the situation. My guess is that they're going to say, hey, Sweeney, you guys are supposed to be at our stadium. Can we use your stadium for free? And Sweeney's probably going to say,
yeah, because then I get another home game. Yeah.
Yeah. Like maybe they split the gate or something, or maybe Katy Harmony gets the gate. But yeah, my guess is that's what's going to happen. I could be wrong, certainly. I'm wrong a lot, but that is kind of the way that I think it'll be. Finally, I want to make sure we touch on this in the college football front. There's a lot of movement in the college football playoff, which is attempting to ruin college football.
Step said away games, so that's away correct.
Games, yeah. Did you see so there were a couple of stories that came out that the college football playoff is looking at basically establishing a Big Two and other two as far as major conferences are concerned, the Big Ten and the SEC, and then kind of the ACC and the Big 12,
the field,
and then kind of everyone else.
Which is kind of what we thought would happen.
I've been telling you guys for years that
it's going to be the Super League.
The breakaway is coming. The Super League is coming.
Yeah.
The Super League is coming. The newest bit that came out was that they were considering auto buys for that if you win the Big Ten or you win the SEC, you are guaranteed to have a bye. Now, according to Heather Dinich at ESPN, the playoff may be backing off of that because of some backlash. That backlash included Sonny Dykes, who told ESPN last week, quote, automatic first-round buys for the Big Ten and SEC is like the NFL saying the Cowboys get a first-round buy since they have more fans than the Bengals. How preposterous is that?
Honestly,
that's exactly right.
That's a fantastic point.
Yes, it doesn't make any sense.
No.
No, that's not true. It does make sense, but what you are doing is that then you are essentially abandoning the concept that college football is some sort of fair and equitable sport.
Yeah,
which
it's not.
Maybe it's not, but it'll be full mask off at that point.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the other side of that is all that to me just feels like the NCAA calling its own death at that point, because then what's going to happen is if other programs want to start moving into the SEC, say TCU's like, well, that's dumb, we're going to move into the SEC then, or we're going to move into the Big Ten then or something like that, then it's going to be too powerful for the NCAA to have any sort of regimented rules at that point.
I agree. Anyway, it sounds like they may be backing off that, but it's been a bad offseason for college football, in my humble estimation. There are some headlines.
Big NCAA guy, Greg Tepper.
There are some headlines.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.